And I do have the
Well, welcome to Website Royalty Town Hall number 13. I am joined tonight by Denise Millay. She's my partner in crime in this, and we are excited to be here with you. Oh, I guess I am Kim White, in case this is your first time of being here. I'm ready to get started, so I'm running too
there's a
fast.
little bubble down there that tells them who you are, just in case they don't
That's
know,
right. That's
in case they
right.
didn't hear it. So
Well, we want to just kick off tonight and say, like, kind of give a little bit of an explanation. We'll try to be quick about it. But Website Royalty Town Hall is Kajabi support for you watching. We have a private group inside of our community called Website Royalty, and it's a paid group that, is it's the insider's version. Let me just say that. I feel like Town Hall is the outsider's version, and I want to make sure you don't feel like an outsider, but that you feel like a royal, like our group, our private meetups. Um, I think it's really important to understand why we're here because I'm skeptical of anyone who wants to give away something. I'm wondering what the hook is or what the all the marketing terms, all of that. We're just going to say it up front. We're affiliate partners for the all-in-one platform Kajabi. We're happy with what we have on Kajabi. I've been on over a decade. Denise has been on over half a decade, and
right.
we love it. So that's why we became affiliates a long time ago. This is to actually tell you about our bonus for using our affiliate link to join Kajabi. We actually give away our insiders group. We give a year's membership to that. So we want to start off by saying all that up front because I don't want you sitting here wondering what the catch is with what all we're doing.
Well, then let's talk about the cool offer because this is really exciting what Kajabi's doing right now. Is they're offering obviously Kajabi at the basic level with all the functionality, no limits. Its AI business assistant called Co-Founder is included with that. And then we offer on top of that, if you use the affiliate link, a 1-year subscription to Website Royalty. And that is your private tutoring group that meets once a week. And of course, there's email and we can video things and all that stuff. And the current promotion is you get 3 months for a total of $99, which is a great way to onboard your business, try it out, see how it's going to work for you and whether it's going to work for you, and really have enough time to evaluate it. So we're super excited about this offer right now. So
I don't know any place else you can get all of that for less than $100. So I just want to say that, but I also want to just clarify one thing. When we say a tutoring group, we just want you to understand it's about what you need. It's not class style where everybody has to be at the same place. We have people who have been on Kajabi a few weeks. We have people who have been on Kajabi for years that
right.
are in the private group. So we want to make sure you understand it's about you and your business. It's about the struggles you're having. We want to help with that. And I'll be honest, Denise, while I am very busy with my own business, I also remember the days when I didn't have anyone to ask questions. I didn't have anyone to support, and it was hard.
Going down that rabbit hole of reading support articles and scrolling YouTube to find videos and who do you listen to? What do you watch? And yeah,
And
hours and hours.
so much bad advice out there that you can go down a wrong rabbit hole and end up creating something that is not even useful for your business. We want to take you from, zero to making money quickly
Right.
in the Website Realty, insiders group. But I want to say this too. We are here to talk about what went on, of course, anonymously, because we never want to, betray anyone. But we want to talk about some of the questions that have come up. They came up in the Website Royalty so that we can, you know, just put this out there. If you don't have these questions, then no big deal. But if you have these questions, this is where we are giving the open invitation, at least for now, to come in and ask us questions, or, leave a comment of something. If you know something more than we do, we're happy. We're happy
Mhm.
to learn ourselves, but we have a lot of experience with business and Kajabi.
Yes, we do in many different ways. So this week we got to cover some pretty interesting things. The opt-in forms, custom thank you pages, all that offers and checkout, that was all kind of rolled into someone's giveaway that they were doing, and also their sign up for their email list. So they had a opt-in form on a landing page to offer a PDF download for someone. That was one piece. And then we had the form to sign up to subscribe to the email list, and then there's an email sequence that went out after that that said, welcome to the email list, here's what you can expect, here's what's the email that you're going to get it from, that kind of thing. So we went through that in a good stretch with a few people.
A lot of people don't realize they can have custom thank you pages. They just
Mhm.
have the generic one. And I think a thank you page is your first touch point after someone signs up for something, so
Right.
that they get something instantly that says, I'm grateful you're here. Like, here's some instructions, and, this is what you can expect. And that makes for a great start to a relationship, I think.
I think so too. And then in the day of, email, especially when you send someone the first email after they subscribe, you want to make sure that they include your email that you'll be sending from in their list of contacts so that you won't be pushed into their spam folder or their promotions folder or whatever. So it's helping them, making sure that they get your emails in the future. So you're setting them up for success. And by not doing that, then it's like the black void, you don't know what happened. So you can't really rely on your open rates and whether people click on your emails if somebody's email went into their promotion folder and they never saw it. So it's helping just tie everything together.
And I think that offers and checkout pages, just to, and we don't want any of this to be intimidating. This is what we literally walked through in less than a couple hours. They had all of their stuff fixed, bougied, I'm gonna call it, custom to them, and they walked away happy with what they had done. And I think that's an important thing to say. When we come on here and we're like, and me especially, I'm so excitable, I'm spouting things 90 miles an hour. I don't mean to fire hose anybody. I'm just
Yeah,
excited to see success happening. And
me too.
so, offers and checkout pages are two different things, but here's the part that I want to clarify. If you're making an offer, someone can purchase something. It's a way to think about it, and I'm going to call it strategy, because how you set it up matters whether they push the button a lot of times.
Right.
So an offer is, part of what we talk about inside Website Royalty, but a checkout page is like their final place that they're going to push a button to buy something. And even if it's something free, you still need them to push a button so that triggers all the automations that come after that. So don't be intimidated, first off. We know when you're starting out, and I do think when you love what you're doing as a business, the other side of it is all of this that can be so overwhelming, and you can get stuck in this. We don't want you to get stuck. So don't be intimidated by all these things we come in here hot with. I'll
Yeah.
just say that.
Eliminate the stress is what we're
Yeah,
looking for. Take the stress out of it as
yeah.
much as possible. I mean, all of us have different stress levels, but it's intimidating to begin and just to start. But it's like everything else. Once you do it once, you kind of get the hang of it, and it's really not as hard as everybody might think it might be.
Well, and I think events are the same. These are
Mm.
online events that we're talking about. We also talk, the online event that we were talking about in Website Royalty this week is actually something that is a live something. You know,
Hmm.
you can have an event where somebody can go to something and it's not actually live, but this was a live one. It was an online event, and they're just pieces that you have to think about. Do you want them to feel very invited and welcoming? Do you want them, because that takes a little bit of effort to say, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
And those are things that can be set up for automations that you can say that without, I mean, you could be in bed sleeping and somebody could sign up and register for an event and you're loving on them, saying, we're glad you're here while you're not even present. And I think that's pretty sexy.
Yeah. And delivering if you have any pre-attendance material or things you want them to see. There are all these different things that you can do with events. We're going to talk about that actually next week. That's our topic next week in a
It
little more
is.
detail.
Well, another thing that came up this week was challenges,
Mm,
because there's multiple ways to do a challenge. This particular one was a fitness challenge. It's Kat Quadrado's 11-minute challenge that, she rocks our world every time she does it because it's so good. But if you don't have it set up where somebody can easily come to it,
right.
it creates a problem, because and this is my opinion, and there's like stats to back it up. I don't know the numbers, let me say that. But every time they have to click another button to get somewhere, you have a drop off.
Right.
So the easier you can make it for them to get somewhere, the more people will stick to it and actually sign up
Right.
for something.
Every touch point creates friction. And it's human nature more than anything else, because if something is even remotely asking for too much or demanding too much, then the perception goes down very quickly. So I'm not even going to use any of those crazy, everybody has a 7-second brain like a goldfish. It's not that. It's just that we're all kind of primed for ease of all of this. And if it gets to be too long, people start to doubt that they're making the right choice.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
So that's another piece of the puzzle that we want you guys to hear, that, website royalty, even town hall, the inside group and town hall, we want to make sure you're not complicating it for the people that are wanting to connect with you, that you are able to, love on them and let them know how much you appreciate them being there, and do that in the easiest possible ways, because all the things we're talking about are repeatables.
Right. Right.
So I think that's sexy, Denise. But tonight, you and I are gonna take on something that we're gonna take the bull by the horns
We
tonight.
are you ready? Drum
I'm
roll,
ready.
please. All right, here we go. Tonight in Website Royalty Town Hall, we're talking about tech stocks, the Frankenstack. I love that. I love that title, I have to admit.
So one thing I want to bring up is I have gone into groups, like I love people, so I want to be around people. But I've gone into some groups or some communities where they pressure you to do a certain like tech stack. And it's usually because that person is an affiliate for all the things on that stack of list of tech.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times, especially when you're not super savvy with all the things that are out there, and it's a struggle. You want to do what you love doing for your business. You don't want to mess with all this stuff and have it be hard. I think we're sold things we don't need, and
Yes.
so I think that that's part of where Frankenstein comes from, and part of it is, and I'm going to use kind of I guess a big word term, but sunk cost fallacy. I
Mm,
think it is something we as humans, I've come this far, so I better just stick it out. I better keep going because I spent this much money on this tool, so I better keep going. Even if it's not working, we do that to ourselves.
yes.
So that's a very common Frankenstack, being coerced into tools you don't need, or feeling like, well, we've always used this, so we better stick to it, rather than, have something that actually works for you, actually helps you run your business, helps you be findable, like Denise talks about all the time, helps you get paid. At the end of the day, business is, we can't stay in business if we don't get paid.
Right.
So don't run away from the thought of us talking about you having sales. If you don't have sales, if you don't have sponsors, if you're a nonprofit, if you don't have, all the different things you need for your business, you're not gonna make it. And we want to see you go the distance. We want to see you stick around.
And the other big thing, your biggest resource aside from your funding is your time and your bandwidth, right? So if you have only so many hours in a day that you set aside for your business to have a million, well, I'm not going to be overly exaggerated, say you're dealing with 5 tools, but they're all separate platforms and you want to pass information from each other. So then that's another tech thing to make it work and all the hours of research. That's a lot of investment of your resources that you're not putting into your sales and your revenue generation. So it can be done, but I'm not even going to say it's going to be done cheaper because you and I were both in situations where we were spending twice what we are now
Actually,
on
more than that, but yeah.
Kajabi when we add it all up. So I was being generous twice per month, and it was not working. Or if it was working, I was spending more time paying attention to it than I was doing other things, like writing blogs or doing a podcast or doing all those other things that you need to do. So, we're trying to help you understand that we're not here to hawk just Kajabi. We also want you to understand that the reason we got there is because we had a Frankenstack and it was overwhelming us, and we found a solution.
So there's a couple things I want to say here, Denise, that, you know, one of the things that overwhelms me is like passwords. If I'm trying to get into all these different tools and I have to reset my computer and then I have to go back and find all my passwords. I know probably everyone watching is not like that. They probably have it completely organized. But I'll be honest, that's one of my problems is I had to log in to so many different things to make everything work
Mhm.
that just logging in made it overwhelming. The other thing is, whenever you think about the time that you're talking about, Denise, cheap and free sometimes costs us more
Right,
because we can make more money, we cannot make more time.
right.
So I think those are important points to the Frankenstack um,
Yes,
controversy. Let's just say it's a controversy.
right. And, some of the old things that we had in our old stacks, or I had a separate CRM, separate contact management, right? I had a separate landing page program. So then if anybody signed up on a landing page, I had to get that information to the CRM and using another connection software to make that connect with the Zapier, right? And then I had conferencing software, and I also had scheduling software just to make that small piece work. And then I had a separate website, hosting company, and a builder that were separate. And then you have all the plugins for the website because I had WordPress. And then, yeah, it was a lot, a
It,
lot, a
it,
lot.
it is a lot. And, that's where I'm going to say it can be very overcomplicated and it can be confusing because you're trying to get somebody to your, I'm just going to say to your domain. You want them
Mhm.
to see your address so that you look professional and you look like you're a real business. But getting there sometimes requires them to do several steps that are unnecessary if you're in one place. It can be confusing because, some of the different CRMs I know I used, several of them. I'll just say that before I got to Kajabi. And they had something that wasn't my domain. It was their their domain with something that added on my name. And
Right.
I don't think that looks as professional. When you get something from us, even our email list, you are getting it directly from us.
Right.
So
Right.
I think
The
that's
credibility and the trust
yeah,
factor is important too.
yeah.
In this, especially in this security day and age with emails and reputation, it's very important that you have control over your domain. So,
We're gonna get pretty spicy with this next part. I'm just gonna say that. We want
you
to talk
ready?
to you about what all Kajabi includes, and we want to talk about the things we use. So, stay till we get done with this part because we're gonna tell what we actually have to run our business,
Right.
and it might surprise you what it is. So, in Kajabi, you have all the things that you need to run your business. There are so many things. I had a hard time getting this graphic to fit all the things and still be readable. But we would like to talk about that. Like you have website builders out there. There are lots of website builders. They are not all equal. They are
Mhm.
not all capable of doing the things that you want them to do. And one thing I love about Kajabi's is you don't have to know any code. You can do everything without having to code anything, which that was the first intimidating part for me way back in the day.
Mhm.
If you want to do code, you can. Let me say that. But it's unnecessary because it shows you exactly what you're creating on the screen. You have the ability to, change fonts and change colors and change layouts and change what image and what video, and like we can go on and on because that list is long of what you
It
can do
is.
to customize your website.
Mhm. And then landing pages, special sales pages that you have for campaigns or other endeavors that you're creating that aren't necessarily going to be with your website forever. So they are created for, you know, word campaigns. I can't think of the word. So they're not temporary, but they're shorter lived.
Yeah.
And,
Sales pages are a good example. If you have a long form sales page and you only sell whatever that is, periodically instead of all the time, you have the ability to you don't have to redo it. You can just, hide it temporarily
mhm,
so that you can, you know, not have it available so people aren't trying to sign up for something you're not doing right now. It
right.
also is all the landing pages for blogs and podcasts and things, which we will get into, but those landing pages all, and let me just give, credit where credit's due. Denise is the findability queen for a reason. She is the DIY SEO queen also, let me just say that, to help everybody do that. But landing pages is part of the way you get your things found online is based on what you're putting on those landing pages. So
Exactly.
important part of SEO, which I don't even have that on the list, Denise. Kajabi actually does
It
SEO
does do
for
SEO
you.
pretty well. Yeah.
Um, but if you want to do your own custom SEO,
Mhm.
that's part of the landing page strategy.
Right. And then there's the CRM, the contact management. So that's everyone you interact with who subscribes to your list, who purchases something from you, who joins your community or downloads a product or anything that you interact with. It keeps a history of that. And that is your subscribers and your customers if they subscribe or not, so there's all sorts of things that you can do with that list as well and store information on. It's very helpful.
You can tag people automatically when they sign up for something because, I'll give an example, we have a huge contact list that actually some of them we don't send our email to, not because they don't ask for it, but because it doesn't fit for what they need. So
Mhm.
we actually send out custom emails for that particular like list, and then we send out our weekly rewind is what we call it here on Sundays. That automatically goes out with all the updates for the week.
Right.
That's a different list. And you can have all kinds of lists. You can have a list for anyone who's tagged for an event, anyone who's tagged for a special group, for like it's amazing what you can do. And if you are extremely versed at CRMs, you're going to be able to roll right in. But if you really are just learning about how to manage your emails and create lists and realize what a value that adds to your business, Kajabi's great for that, because you can start right where you are. You don't have to know all these things. We just want you to know what's available on Kajabi, because we're going to be spicy in a minute. We want you to know like what we're bringing to the table with Kajabi.
So then there's emails, and emails can be, as Kim said, your weekly broadcast that you send out, but you can also have sequences for sales that you do where, on day 0, if they sign up for something, they get this email, then 2 days later they get another one, and 3 days later they get another one. And so that's a great tool as well.
We actually have had 30-day email sequences where every day, if someone asks for it, they get a different email so that they can make progress on doing whatever it is, they wanted to do. A lot of times that's a social media one. Like,
right.
do this day 1, do this day 2, and it makes it not overwhelming. But we've even had up to a year. We've had a full year email sequence. But that's not where you start. Like that. No. We want to say that too. We didn't start there. We started with learning how to send out one email, and then went to, if we send out this email 3 days later, we can send this one. And so we just don't want anyone listening to feel like they have to do these major things.
Well, this is all available, but you don't have to use all these things to start with. It's just, we approach things differently when we do website royalty. We don't believe that there's you have to go ABC to build on Kajabi. There are obviously some settings you have to do to set things up to begin with, obviously. But if you're not ready for the website and you need a course first, you need a community first, or you're ready with your podcast, but you're not ready for this, that's not for us to dictate. That's the conversation and strategy. So that's the thing that we kind of guide things by, is what are the goals for your business? That's the beauty of having so many choices.
Did I mention I love Kajabi?
I know, but we better get through this list a little fast. We're going to run out of time.
And I want to point to our QR code again, though. If you want the easy button, if you're on a TV or a computer screen or iPad or like any of those things, you can use the QR code. If not, you can go to mysexybusiness.com and you'll find website royalty on there. We have tried our best to give you the easy buttons, but if you do go to the website, remember that is a Kajabi website. You can have things just like we have them, and I think that that's a sexy example of, we're not just talking about it. This is what we do every day. This is what we live. We live in Kajabi land. So
exactly.
Okay, Denise, get us through this list.
All right, let's go faster. So we've got podcasts, which is cool. So you can actually host your podcast on Kajabi and have it accessible so that it creates a separate page for each episode, which is incredibly helpful for SEO. And your blog, the same thing, is attached to your website. So that's fantastic. You can have courses, coaching, which includes individual one-on-one coaching or group coaching with scheduling, and the conferencing portion where you actually meet within Kajabi, as opposed to setting up an online meeting somewhere else. So you have your meetings within Kajabi, which is amazing. You can have analytics of reports, coupons if you give away for sales. Gosh, my words are gone. I talked about conferencing, community. You want to talk about community a little bit, Kim?
I do, because I think this is a really important one. There are softwares out there you can build a community on that are not connected to all the things you do in your business. And there are communities that are free and they're on the socials and they're subject to whoever is in charge of that socials. They are not, in your control as much as you think at first. You build 100,000 member community and then they decide to shut it down. There's nothing you can do about it. If
No
you didn't get
recourse.
their contacts,
Right.
their contact information, you've lost that community. So I think building somewhere that you have the ability to have more control over that. For our community, it requires an email address because you can't get in. We can't send you a link to get in if you
Right.
don't share that. I
And
also think it's connected to everything. It it's not outside of the community that you then have to go to these other pieces. It's actually connected to the website. It's connected to your emails. It's connected already. So it's very sexy how they've done the communities.
right. So your website becomes the portal where your members log in so that they can access the community if they belong to your community, if they can access the products you sell them, they can access the downloads you sell them. All those things become part of their library, and that's how they get into them. So there's no going to a different address and signing in there with a different password. It's all from your homepage where they log in.
In a previous town hall, we did talk about the the free community, the paid groups, because for our example of us, we have a free community. And
Right.
I'm going to stop and invite you right now if you want to come into the community. We do all kinds of fun free events. But inside there are paid spaces also, like our website royalty live meetups. Like
Right.
that's something we do weekly, and it's a paid space. If you use our affiliate link, I'm just going to drop this again. If you use our affiliate link, you actually get a year's membership to that group. So
Right.
you get a several $1,000 bonus of having, tech support for an entire year.
That is the best bonus that I have yet to see for a Kajabi partner.
We love it.
Yeah. So then he could do, and I'm going to shoot through this because I want to finish the
Yeah.
rest of the good parts of these conversations. So newsletters, events, forms that are customized, funnels for sales, pipelines, we like to call them.
I was gonna say I have to address this because we don't use the F word around here. A
No.
funnel is not a sexy thing in our world, but the funnel inside of Kajabi is actually it gives you the pieces you need to use to get someone from point A to point, Z. So it's a very sexy thing inside Kajabi. We just don't like the F word because I feel like a funnel is a trap of some sort, and we're not into trapping people.
No, we don't track people.
So I'm just gonna be real
Thank you for adding that. There's also assessments and quizzes, which I've recently had some experience with. You can have, yeah, offers. They do payment processing where you can have access to Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal, credit cards, all that stuff. They have a shopping cart process, which is great. So that if people are purchasing multiple things or you have upsells or order bumps, you can do that. Automations are phenomenal. So that's where you set your tags after someone does something, you grant offers, you can take offers back, you can trigger an email sequence, that kind of thing. Let's leave the AI business assistant to the end. Downloads. You have a media library for video and audio and images eventually. Creator Studio helps you create from existing audio or video other pieces, whether it's summaries and writing, or whether it's clips, or whether it's transcripts, or a whole host of things you can create from one single piece of media.
emails, blogs. I just want to throw it out there because it's so much. Emails, blogs, clips for social posts. Like
Right.
there's so much you can do inside a Creator Studio. That could be one all by itself.
It's like 25 things you can do. You can send invoices to your customers, which is super interesting. I love that. Obviously, you can have your contact list, which is your CRM management, and then insights for emails, which are the templates for emails. And then you can have online meetings, or what were you thinking with that?
So insights are more like you can see who opened your emails and what your
Oh,
what your percentage of opens and click throughs and that stuff. So that way, you know, if you're sending out an email and it gets a really high click through rate, what did you do in that email so you can do it again? If you get like a 0, click through rate, what can you do better so someone understands what you're wanting them to do that will benefit them?
Exactly. Thank
So
you for clearing that up. And then meetups in the community where you actually schedule on a calendar official dates where you're going to gather for certain things, whether it's a regular meeting or whether it's a one off. You can schedule those so that your community, the members in it, can see those on the calendar.
So to keep our word tonight, we're going to share what our tech stacks are, our must-haves. That's what I'm going to call it.
I want to add one last thing. The last thing we didn't talk about is Co-Founder, which is the AI business assistant. I left that to the end.
Yes.
Because that is the thing that looks at all these other things you have out there on Kajabi in your account and answers your questions based on that and things that you ask it and helps you with your business. It can give you step-by-steps, and we did this last week. So we did Co-Founder prompts, which is just amazing ways. It is a business assistant.
And I have to speak to the privacy thing because this is the part that I didn't like about some of the other AI tools that I have like tested and played with, I'll say, is that they'll take your content that you're finding out inside, they're helping you with, and they'll actually feed it to other people that are using the same tool. Co-Founder is different. Co-Founder only uses your stuff. It's your content. They are not taking your content and giving it to someone else.
Right. I mean, they have a base library that they've accumulated over time, however they did that, but they are not taking people that are on the platform and using that to feed to other members at all. So,
and I love that part. That's, to me, privacy is a big deal.
It
and
is.
It's our content. So Co-Founder is helping bougie our content, but not taking or stealing. That's really what I feel like it is, stealing our things. It's ours. So I appreciate the fact that they're very vocal about that.
Me too.
So here's our spicy thing. We have done the bazillion dollars worth of different tools that we needed. Here's what we use at My Sexy Business, and we've played with so many tools. I want to say that just for the record, we've used all kinds of things, but what we use to run our entire business is we use Kajabi, which is the all-in-one platform we keep talking about. We use Canva so that we can design pretty things. And we use StreamYard, which is what we're on now, to live stream. I think that is our must-haves, are those 3 tools compared to and I don't know if we have enough time to even list all the things before. Before there were about 17 tools that it took for us that we paid. We felt like we were paying less because maybe it was $20, $30, $40 for each tool. But when you add them up, it was way more than what those 3 tools cost. There's actually a free version of Canva. There's actually a smaller account than what we have for live streams. We live stream a lot, so we have a bigger account for that. But we don't pay to run our entire business. Oh, and Trello, let me add that too. Trello can be free or it can be paid. You can pay a little more to get some more things, but we stay organized in Trello. So those 4 things cost us so much less than the tools that we thought we were getting such a good deal on.
Yes, me too. And I similarly have Kajabi, not quite the power user you might be. The Canva, again, I use that for everything under the sun. Thank gosh it's there. And I do use StreamYard for my podcast, so to record my podcast. So those 3 things are my primary things. For social media, I use Post Planner to post some of my social media things, and that's it. I mean, compared to, I don't even want to name all the names, the CRM, I had landing pages, I had website, I had a host platform, I had Zoom, I had Calendly, I had um, the Zap thing to make everything talk to each other. I had a membership site. I had course products that wove into my website, paid for all the plugins, and then you'd have to update them all the time, and there'd be problems. And I was spending, if at least 2 times what I'm spending now
We were
per
spending a
month.
lot more.
Per
Yeah,
month.
per month.
Yes.
And
My accountant looked at me like, "You're spending all this money?"
well, and again, back to just even the logins, how much time do you waste, logging into all the different tools? That's one of my things. I realize at 59, you can't get more time. You can always make more money. So for me to start out, I think the special that Kajabi's running right now, and we don't know how long this is going to go on, so don't miss out on it. We don't have any control over it.
Oops, wrong one.
But the 3 months for $99 total is a pretty sexy deal, because you do get Kajabi plus the AI business assistant co-founder. It can be your business partner. It will interview you, help you get clear on your message. It'll help you set up courses. Like, it just does all these wonderful things. Plus, you get a year of Website Royalty, our inside group, so
Right.
that you can come in and ask questions, and like, we really hands-on help you. So
Mhm.
I think that's a pretty sexy offer.
It's the best one I've seen so far.
And if you have questions about I'm going to call it the versus research, that's what I call it, this platform versus this platform, I hope we covered enough in what's included with Kajabi for you to go back and, watch the replay, go back and see that list again, and ask yourself what you are using right now. Are you currently using too many tools? Whether you come to Kajabi or not with us, I want to say this out loud, check your tech stack. Because if you're paying for things that are unnecessary, that's a great way to get a raise instantly. Stop it. Like that's pretty quick. So
It doesn't have to be crazy complicated and confusing and stressful. That does not have to be the norm. Any stress you're feeling right now because of all the distress of what you see doesn't have to be that way.
doesn't have to be. And we want to invite you to next week's town hall, Website Royalty Town Hall. We are going to be stuck talking about, because it came up in the inside group. We just want to talk a little bit more about online events and how that can build not only your email list, it can build your sales, it can build a lot of things, but we want to talk about how to look at it in a strategic way, instead of just, oh yeah, that looks like fun, let's do that. Because I don't think that is a very good plan for your business.
No.
And we want to see you succeed.
We do. We do.
We like business. Like, I want to say that I was born to do business, is how I feel. And I love having other people around me who are like doing business well as well. Like,
And we want you to run the business you love without the stress. And we believe that Kajabi plus co-founder plus website royalty is your ticket to that. So
boom shakalaka. I think that's the end of the town hall, Denise. Mic drop.
we'll see you next week. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for joining us tonight. And we mean it when we say love y'all.